Alright, so let's try to get this lock open now. Alright, the lock's open. I'm not really sure what I did, but let's try to slow this down and go step by step so we can try to feel like we are setting these pens one at a time and not just at random. When you are first starting out in lock sport, you're going to start getting open some locks rather quickly, but you may not have a strong feel for what you're doing. You may just feel like you are just poking around until the lock opens. This is a feeling that many people go through when they are first starting out, and just through hours of practice and trying out many different locks will you start to be able to really feel exactly what's going on pen by pen. If you're not familiar with me already, I am the Helpful Lockpicker, and I love to try to teach lock sport and help people grow as pickers. This video today is going to be part of my lockpicking homeschool series, which is geared at people that have zero experience and help them grow to an intermediate level. What we're going to focus today is on set pens and how we can identify them. In order to get better at purposefully setting pens, you're going to need to have a strong idea where you are in the lock. In this lock in front of us here, I have it in the pick position. What I'm going to do is insert my pick into the keyway, and I'm just going to feel each key pen and just try to get a really good understanding of where each pen lies in the lock. This is an exercise that I encourage you to do because you really want to know exactly which pen you're working on when you're trying to get your pen set. And since this lock is in the pick position, the key pens are separated from the driver pens. And what I'd encourage you to do is just feel how the key pens feel when you lift up on them. This is precisely what a set key pen is going to feel like. It is separated from the driver pen. Nothing is pushing it down but the weight of gravity. The key pen feels quite floppy, and when you lift it up all the way, you're going to meet no resistance. This is precisely the feedback that you're going to be looking for when you're trying to feel for a set key pen, and I highly encourage that you get very familiar with this feeling because it's going to help you out a lot in the long run. But what I'd like to do now is lock this lock back up, and we're going to pick through this lock a couple times and really start to navigate some of the feedback. Now that we have a really good idea of where we are in the lock and what a set pen is going to feel like, I encourage you to go through one more time and lift up on each key pen. This is not only going to help you get a better understanding of where you are in the lock, but you're also going to start to feel what a springy pen feels like. When you are picking your lock and you start to feel a springy pen, it's going to feel precisely like this. A springy pen means that the pen is not binding and it is also not set. Essentially, you need to move on until the feedback changes either to a set pen or to a binding pen. And for now, you're going to move on when you start to feel a springy pen. Alright, so let's put this all together. So now we have a good idea where we are in the lock, what a set pen's going to feel like, what a springy pen's going to feel like. Now we're going to go over what a binding pen feels like. So essentially when you are picking a lock, what you're going to want to do is put some tension on the core, and then you're going to lift up on each key pen, and then you're going to feel a pen that is giving you resistance. That is going to be a binding driver pen. We're going to lift that up above the plug, up into the Bible, and then it will clear the shear line. The key pen is going to drop back down. It is going to feel floppy like we have already identified, and then we're going to move on through each key pen until we find our next driver pen, and we are going to repeat until the lock opens up. So now I'm applying some tension to the core. I'm going to lift up on each pen. So 1 feels springy, 2 feels springy, 3 feels springy, 4 feels springy, 5 is giving me some resistance. I'm lifting up on it. I got a shear line click. You heard that lift up. Now the key pen is dropped back down, and now that feels very floppy. You can see that the driver pen is now set above the shear line, and the key pen has dropped back down. Now we're going to go looking for the next binding pen. So 1 feels springy, 2 feels springy, 3 binding up. I'm going to lift that. Got a shear line click. The key pen has now dropped back down. That feels floppy. 4 binding up. Got a shear line click. the key pen feels floppy, and now that has dropped back down. So right now you can see that driver pen 3, 4, and 5 have been set to the shear line. And now we're going to need to set 1 and 2. So 1 binding up, got a shear line click, and the key pen now feels nice and floppy. Now we only have 1 pen holding us up. Driver pen 2 is still obstructing plug rotation because it is sitting between the plug and the Bible. Once we get this one set, we are going to open up the lock. So we're lifting up on it. And now we have set all the driver pens to shear. All the key pens have dropped back down. The plug is able to separate from the Bible. And now we have been able to open up our lock. As you may be able to tell, the second time that we picked this lock open went a lot more smoothly than the first time. When we picked this lock for the first time in the intro, I was just randomly setting the pens without any care, and I was not paying attention to any of the feedback. And that is precisely how people often feel when they are first starting out. They just feel like they are just poking away at the lock, and the lock will either open up or it won't. But if you're able to take a few steps back and really refine your skill set, you'll really start to get a lot better at lock picking. What we did was we really had a strong understanding of exactly where we were in the lock. We were able to identify what a binding pen felt like, what a springy pen felt like, and what a set pen felt like. Since we were able to put all of that together, we were able to get this lock open right away, and we did not miss any of the feedback. This is a skill set that takes a while to develop, but the most important thing you're going to need to do is just to practice, 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 and get your hands on as many locks as you can. You will really start to develop a great feel for what set pens feel like and all of the feedback that is associated with picking a lock. I highly encourage you to just keep practicing and always trying to get better. But either way, this is all that I have for you today. This has been an overview for you on what a set pen feels like and some of the feedback that you will go through when you are opening up a lock by single pen picking. If you guys have any questions or suggestions, please leave them in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video and you'd like to see more like it, please subscribe. As always, thank you so much for checking out this video, and I hope you all have a great day. And just thank you so much for checking this out.